I'll see if I can pull it up on my phone at the same time.
Hey, guys. I hope you are having a wicked day. I am super stoked today. I know we're going live into a few communities. I have a really good friend of mine. I only met this guy actually in person back into Dubai this year, and we'll maybe talk about that a little bit because that was just an epic event. I'm super excited to be talking with the legend that is John Melton. Dude, how are you doing today, buddy?
Living the dream, man. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, mate, it's an absolute pleasure. I know your view behind your camera is out onto the pool and the hot tub, so I'm sure by the end of this, mate, it's time to go and have a dip, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, well, look, mate, super excited to have you on, and I know we met over in Dubai recently. I think it was back in February, was it? February, March?
Yes, yeah, February. Yep.
February. Yeah, super exciting time. That was your first time in Dubai, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it won't be my last, though. We had a blast. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, super good crowd of people, right? Really good crowd of people.
Yeah, it's just so much to do. I mean, it's one of the few cities where, like sometimes you go to a city and you're like, that was cool, but, I'll check that off the bucket list. No need to go back. That was one of those places where I was like, we need to be here for at least another couple weeks. Like it was super dope for sure. Very unique. Nothing like it over here in the U.S. I've never been to a place like it. So, and of course it was awesome to be with a great group of 6- and 7-figure earners from all these different companies. I always love that aspect of these types of masterminds. Rob Sperry always puts on a great event, but to go to Dubai, that was definitely a once in a lifetime thing. But hopefully we'll be able to go back at some point soon because we had a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's one of them places, and I'm sure we talked about it in Dubai, but it's that, up on the billboards, they have like these space cars. It reminds me of the Jetsons, right?
Yeah. I'm sure if any place is going to have flying cars, that'll be the place.
Oh, it's the place to be. I always have in my mind, I'm just trying to think of movies of the past when the world's over and you've got to get to that one place.
Yeah.
It's going to be Dubai, man. It's going to be like
absolutely
in this like big
dome. They're going to be like the Wakanda. You ever seen Black Panther? They'll be like Wakanda. It's like protected bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, mate, love it. So, mate, most people are going to know you, and obviously the impact that yourself and Nadia have not only just had in your own business, but really having a ripple effect out with your podcast, your coaching, your mentorship, and stuff. But I know a little bit about your story, but I know you've been in networking. I think similar time as me, really, quite a while now. Kind of probably half your life, I guess.
Yeah, 2001. I got involved when I was 20 years old, and I'm now 41. So yeah, it's been over 20 years of building teams and being in this incredible profession. And thank God for social media and learning online strategies, because I had some major, we call it MLM PTSD. I almost gave up on the industry, but luckily kept going, just said, hey, I'm going to figure out this online thing and see if maybe I can kind of use some of these strategies to generate leads and sales and build a team online from home, which is funny because I think nowadays everybody for the most part does that, whether they're using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Zoom, or some other strategy or platform. I think most of us probably have a lot of our teams, our customers, from online connections. Back in the day, man, it was all offline, 8 to faint. We would go from morning till night, doing the meetings, the calls, chasing the business. The business was not chasing us. So we started to learn attraction marketing and branding ourselves and just learning how to, have conversations online versus offline. And it changed everything for us.
Yeah, because you made a shift. I mean, I'm from memory, I think it was about 7, maybe 8 years ago where you really made a shift to, I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but you made a shift to really focus on this attraction market. And that's really where you've really grown this audacious global business, right?
Yeah. I mean, we started doing videos February 2013. So, dude, almost 10 years. Wow. Almost 10 years and I remember I did it was my first day. And I remember I recorded, I was like, I'm just going to start recording videos throughout the day. I finally got a smartphone in like 2012. I was like one of those like really stubborn, like I'm going to get rich with a flip phone. And then I got a smartphone and I was like, what the hell was I waiting for? But anyway, so I got my smartphone, started recording videos. started uploading them again, February 2013. I did like 5 videos that first day, and they were all like 1 minute, 2 minute videos. And, back then there wasn't like the algorithm and all the things, but there was like not that many people doing videos. So like I got some pretty good engagement right out of the gate. And I was like, holy crap, this is kind of cool. This is interesting. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to be a vlogger. I had no idea what a vlogger was or what vlogging or blogging or any of that stuff meant. But here's what I knew. I didn't want to have to rely on my friends and family. I don't want to have to like rely on recruiting friends and family and doing the PBRs, private business receptions, three-way calls. Like I just wanted to figure out a better way. So even though I had no clue what I was doing, and I don't know how many of you can relate to this, smash the heart button if you can, but I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of struggling, of having to find people to talk to about my products and opportunity. So like you said, I wanted to learn attraction marketing. I wanted to learn how to attract people to me and build that know, like, trust with an audience, with a community. And then eventually the idea was that you built such a large following, such a community, that you never have to worry about friends and family or have to worry about, finding leads for your business because you have so many new followers and people in your inbox. And I didn't know if it would work. Obviously it did, but at the time it was just blind faith. It was just like, please God, let this work, because I'm just sick and tired of doing it the old school way. Nothing wrong with the old school way, but when you start to have kids and you're starting to have a family and you just feel like, I don't want to have to choose like to be a good dad and a good husband or to get rich. Like, why can't I just have an and life? I heard that from Ray Higdon one time. He's like, you don't need an or life. You need an and life. Like, I want to get rich and travel the world and be a great dad and be a great husband. Like, I want all the things, right? I don't want to have to choose.
Hey, well, this is a world of abundance, and the internet certainly brings that, doesn't it? And it's the dream. I think this. I guess this like laptop lifestyle that's probably been
Yeah.
evolving. The kind of the
Yeah.
entrepreneurial age for the last kind of 10, 12 years, like
Yeah.
globally. Like more and more people have been kind of, I guess, sitting back and watching people. But certainly the last 5 years, maybe 6 years, there's been a huge shift, because that's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Living that mobile lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like I was
What?
saying to you before, like I'm off to Spain on Saturday, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to run my business. I'm going to see my parents, going to see
Yeah.
my sister, going to recruit a ton of people while I'm there, I'm sure, but just have fun. And that's
Yeah.
what we want to do.
Yeah, you're making friends, you're making connections. It's like funny. People ask me, like, what do you do when like someone asks you what you do and how you make money, what do you do for a living? And I don't get into recruiting mode. I get into, build rapport mode. Like, let's become Facebook friends. Like, let's connect. Because it's not about like your elevator pitch. It's not
Mhm.
about like, let me give them this one sentence and it's just going to hit and they're gonna be like, whoa, that sounds amazing. Plus people are skeptical. People are skeptical. And I know that if you come on too strong, you come on with that commission breath, you come on with your agenda, right? What you're trying to get from them versus trying to make a friend versus giving value, you're definitely not going to get the results that you desire. And, all of us have goals and dreams, but, if you desire to be successful and build a business that's profitable, build the kind of business that Craig has built, right? If they want to build the kind of business that you've built, they have to start thinking differently.
Mhm.
And entrepreneurs are really just professional problem solvers, right? We offer solutions, we offer our advice. You almost want to have like the doctor approach where it's like you're just trying to diagnose their symptoms and give them some suggestions on what you can do to help them, whether it's from a financial standpoint or from, acquiring them as a customer. It depends on what kind of product you're selling. But, at the end of the day, your product and your opportunity is a solution for someone's problem, whether the problem is a lack of work or a lack of purpose or a lack of money or a lack of time or a lack of, good health. Right. So you have to just start thinking differently about your social media. And, for me, I just didn't want to come across as as Fraser Brooks would say, a Spamela Anderson. I really wanted to build my business in an authentic way that felt good, but also was producing results. I'm not here to just like make friends. I'm here to make money, but it starts with a relationship, a friendship before a partnership, typically.
Yeah, totally. The quality of our lives within the quality of our relationship, as Tony Robbins has always said. And
Yep.
yeah, it's funny. I was doing a live the other day. Like, there's a bunch of us committed to do like 165 lives every day for the next year. So that's just like truly epic. But I think when you get into this business, you have these like, and you've given me flashbacks. I remember going back maybe like 15 years and like, like this elevator pitch, teaching people what to say in like 30 seconds. But it's just uncomfortable, isn't it? It's almost like, as you said, you don't want to kind of get into the warm market kind of vibe, and in the form of like feeling like you have to recruit your friends and family. And I think, getting into a lift, I remember doing the training. I just have this flashback. I remember getting into a lift like about a day or two later. I'm thinking, yeah, nah, this is like the most uncomfortable thing ever. But connecting with people and being present on social media, that's where people are. It's where people are spending their time nowadays.
Yeah. And you're playing the long game, right? The way I look at it is that most people I'm connected with are eventually going to buy one of my products. Eventually, they're going to maybe buy a training course or some affiliate thing I launch, or they're going to become a part of my organization, my downline, my team. We're going to partner together. Something's going to happen, but not if I'm always pitching and selling. Not if I come across as a person that has, again, that commission breath. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, if people feel like you're sleazy and you're always trying to sell them something, it's not going to bode well on social media. You think about all the people you follow right now. They're probably entertaining or informative, inspiring. They're relatable. So that's how you should want to show up. And, you and I were talking about this beforehand, right? It's like you just stay in your lane, you stay in your bubble, you focus on positivity, enthusiasm. I don't care what's going on in the world. I'm not going to get caught up in that nonsense. I do my best to avoid the news. I mean, obviously, look, you want to be informed, like I get it. But, the truth is people need right now, especially, I know, at least in America, like wait, on this side, right? This phone's backwards. Right? In this country, we got some problems over here. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I can't speak for all countries, but I know here we got some problems, big problems. But I'm not going to focus on problems. I'm going to focus on solutions. And solutions to me are positivity, enlightenment, inspiring people, making an impact. Like, just people need that stuff. People want to laugh. They want to feel good. And look, when people feel good, they're more open to having a conversation or wanting to learn more about you, because they're like, man, this person's a good human. Like, this person motivates me. This person has piqued my curiosity. And by the way, you talked about attraction marketing. When you attract, it's like a magnet.
Yeah.
So you attract the kind of people you would want to work with because you're showing up as classy and not trashy, right? You're showing up as a professional. You're showing up with positivity, with light, especially during a dark time, right? You're encouraging people. You're doing all these things, but at the same time, guess what's happening? If you're doing it right, you're also repelling people. And I know I repel people because I get those haters in the comments. I get the Karens, right? I get those, like, it's funny, especially when we started going viral on TikTok and Facebook Reels the first time, there were so many dudes, like middle-aged dudes that kind of like look like me, white dudes that would like get in the comments and be so disrespectful and so ignorant. And I'm like, I was just so grateful that I chose a different path 20 years ago, because really network marketing is personal development with a comp plan attached, right? It's like the more you grow yourself, the more you grow your bank account, the more you grow your business, right? But a lot of those guys that would be, and it was a lot, like I had some videos that would be like hundreds of just nasty comments. And I felt bad for my assistants because they had to go through and delete and block all these people. But, the truth is, they just, in my opinion, have their own insecurities. They have their own toxic relationships, or, maybe they've, maybe they were a part of something and it was a bad experience. Like, who knows, who cares? But I'm not here to fix people. I'm not here to convince people. I'm here to attract people that are like me, that are like-minded, that want systems, they want strategy, they want to build a business, they want an and life, right? They want financial abundance, they want freedom. Freedom's probably my favorite word, because, the truth is, I thought there was something wrong with me when I didn't want to go to school, didn't want to get a degree, didn't want to get a freaking job, a job, and work for someone else. I thought there's something wrong with me. But then you get involved in network marketing and you meet all these other entrepreneurial minded people and you're like, these are my people. Like, it's not that we want to get rich, although money is very, very nice, but it's the freedom to wake up when you're done sleeping, to fly to Dubai, right? Not have to ask permission or borrow money. It's having that freedom to choose what you want your life to look like and really design the lifestyle and the freedom and all the things that most people don't have the ability to create or do because they're in the wrong vehicle. You can't fly to the moon in a car. You have to be in the right vehicle. And network marketing, in my opinion, is one of the few vehicles that gives the average person the opportunity to achieve freedom without all the risks of overhead, investment of money. Yeah, like, I was talking to someone the other day and they're like comparing this to a traditional business. They were even having the audacity to say, well, network marketing, is that really like owning a business? And I'm like, it's actually better because when you own a traditional business, it typically owns you. Like, you can't start a restaurant on a part-time basis, right? You'd have to go all freaking in on that business. You ever watch Shark Tank? These people invest their life savings and they own a business, but they don't really own it by the time they're done with it. Everybody else owns it. All the millionaires that invest into it own it, and they still got like a little sliver, right? Here, you own your position in your network marketing company, and you can will it, sell it. You can make as little or as much as you want. Obviously, if you want to make more, it's going to take more time, more effort, more discipline, but sky's the limit. But again, you have the unlimited income, but you don't have the risk factor of traditional business. And that to me makes it better than business ownership because you can truly achieve both time and financial freedom. To me, that's what it's all about.
Hey man, look, your energy is just like contagious, and talking about this kind of journey of personal development and personal growth, like we all start somewhere, right? And everyone's on like a, we always say don't judge your first step to where somebody is further down the line, because everyone's on their journey of personal growth, but it changes you thinking. Yeah. It shifts the way you think to believe in the possibilities that lie within you, around you, and before you, and ultimately it's in our DNA. Like, we are the true chameleons of the world, let's be honest. Like, that environment, and network marketing gives us that environment to feel valued, feel worth, but also learn, develop new skills to become 6-figure earners, or whatever our goals may be, 7, 8-figure earners.
Which I gotta say, I didn't believe I could do that. When I first got started, I remember they were talking about 10 grand a month. I'm like, 10,000 a month, that's like millions. Like, back then I was waiting tables, living at home with my parents. I couldn't fathom 10,000 a month. But you know what's interesting? I don't remember, like, even though I didn't believe, like, deep down inside, I don't think I believed I could do it. I also don't remember being super skeptical. And it fascinates me how many people are just so closed-minded and skeptical, and they're broke. I'm like, how can you be closed-minded and broke? That makes no sense. Dude, when I was broke, man, some people will say, oh, you're money motivated. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm freedom motivated. I am free. I just talked about it, right? I'm freedom motivated, but here's the truth. The only time I was money motivated is when I didn't have any money, right? Yeah. But they were talking 10,000 a month. I'm like, yeah, that sounds amazing. But I don't think I could do that. But I just wanted to make enough money to not wait tables. And, one day I was like, man, one day it'd be so cool to make 10,000 a month, but I didn't see that. And here's the truth. That's probably why it took me so long to achieve it. Like, I didn't become a full-time network marketer or a 6-figure earner until my seventh year. It took me 16 years to start earning 6 figures a month. So it's not get rich quick. It's just, get rich eventually, different mentality. So I love that you said that, though. It's like, whether you want to build a full-time income or a significant income, it doesn't matter. It's a journey, and it's the journey that's actually the best part of it. You don't always see that in the beginning. You're kind of like, yeah, okay, sure, I just want to make money. But once you start to see the development and you start helping people and you realize it's so much bigger than just making money. There's lots of ways to make money. Lots of ways. But most of those things, in my opinion, are not super fulfilling. There's not a lot of like purpose behind it, where this is like, all about helping others. And I love that. And that's why you've done such a great job, right? That's why you built such a thriving business, because you've been able to help a lot of people. And the more people you help, as we know, the cliche goes, the more people you help, the more money you make. It's a win-win situation.
It's like this emotional congruency, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you develop like. I mean, I look at myself 6'2". Always thought I was a tough guy, not in a bad way, but like a guy, like a man. But actually, this business really gets into your emotions because
Yeah.
you get that emotional charge
Yeah.
from other people's success, which is worth more than the money. Now,
It's
I know, like
addicting.
you're talking like
It's
10K.
addicting. You
Yeah,
know,
oh, that is
it's so
addictive.
addicting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, big time. So was there a trigger point for you? So when I think back, like my 10K shift that started accelerating, there's two things that were said to me. One was by my mum, and she said to me, "Son, you'll never earn 10 grand a month with £500 worth of effort." And then a mentor of mine, Rob, he said to me, "Craig, stop chasing the check, and the check will chase you."
Yes.
His personal development, sorry, and the check will chase you. So I
Yes.
got into this like mindset of like, you know, almost going from like hanging around sort of 4 to 5 grand, like, and but not really growing. I was really young at the time, and
Yeah.
you know, at that time I was like, "Yay, living the dream." But like, I guess most people probably spending more, and you know, you learn through your mistakes. But was there a trigger point for you? Like you've obviously talked, you know, 7 years to 10K, 16 years to six figures a month. What was there a trigger point that kind of really shifted you to go into overdrive at any point? Anything particular or?
Yeah. I will definitely say back to what I was saying in the beginning is social media. Like social media was game changing for me, and following like Ray Higdon, Shalene Johnson, Gary Vaynerchuk, Mike Dillard, Tim Ferriss, like all these guys starting to speak a language that I was intrigued by,
Yeah.
because I'd always like, been very much in one company. Not going to name the company, but I was in this one company where I had my blinders on, and I was there for 7 years. And after 7 years, I was like, you know what? This is really uncomfortable and this is really hard, but I need to start looking around for a new opportunity. And
Mhm.
I'd seen other people leave, so I knew that was a thing that like happened, like people leave, but it was still very taboo. It was like, how dare you? Like you're a traitor. I was telling myself like you're a bad person for this. Like what is wrong with you? But I was like, I'm just not feeling it, dude. Like I don't want to do meetings. I don't want to have listen. And I know even in Europe they probably still have a lot of companies, a lot of leaders that still do the old school thing. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I wanted to build a global business without having to leave my home to do it.
Yeah.
And, learning about attraction marketing and branding myself and using social media to start generating leads and build an online community. Like, I don't know, man, that sounded way more badass than make a list of 100 people and invite them to the upcoming meeting. And then at that meeting, you're trying to sign people up in the business to then get those people to do a meeting. And it's just like, it's meetings forever. And I was looking at the top earners in my company, and I'm like, they don't have the lifestyle that I'm interested in. They don't
Right.
have freedom. They have money, but their teams aren't winning. Their business isn't truly self sufficient. It's not
Mhm.
a winning formula. It's not what I want.
No.
And I was looking for what I wanted versus what works. See, a lot
Right.
of people are looking for what works
Mhm.
when you should look for WYW, what you want. Not
Mhm.
WW, what works, but WYW, what you want. And what I wanted was freedom, lifestyle, duplication. I wanted to get over my MLM PTSD, and I wanted to know I could look someone in the eye and truly help them build a business. So that was the thing. We started learning marketing, learning how to teach people how to create curiosity. So, like, don't say the name of the company publicly.
Yeah.
You might love your company, but you don't own the company. You don't own the company. So if they buy from the company, how much do you make? Nothing. Yeah.
Zero.
How much do you make if they join someone else's team? Nothing. So common sense would say, I want to control the conversation. I want people to reach out to me. I want them to want to buy from me, work with me, follow me, learn from me. And if those things align, then obviously I'll sign them up. But we started to scale that. We started to see the results. We started to find other ways to monetize also. And that's a whole other conversation. But I was like, man, it started to light my fire again. Like I went from almost like getting out of the profession altogether, going back into the mortgage industry, going to get a traditional job or figure out something else I could do, to like finding that passion, finding that belief again. Like this is what I want to do. And so that was 2013. I left the company I was with for 7 years, went to this new company called Vima. They weren't new at they weren't a new company. It was like a new company for me, right? I was joining a new company, and we put 7,000 people in that company in 2 years. and the Federal Trade Commission shut it down. Lovely experience. So when that got shut down, it was like, okay, God, what's up? Like, tell me what I'm doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And within 24 hours, we were looking at other opportunities. I mean, for the first 24 hours, I was pissed. I'm like,
yeah, cool.
I
remember that feeling, mate. I had that 4 years ago. I remember the feeling.
Just like, boom, gone. No more check, no more team,
Mm-hmm.
downline. Yeah, everything's gone. 7,000 people. It's just like it never happened.
Yeah.
But here's one thing that I knew, and this is probably what you experienced too. I had built up some skills.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it for 14 years at that point. I had a lot of influence. I had a big following, and this was back in 2015, right? And I went to that next company. I made 17,000 my first month. I hit one of the elite ranks. Been with the same company now for almost 7 years. Blessing in disguise. Best thing that could have happened is that company was shut down. I hate to say that. I hate saying that, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
When you look at your life in reverse, sometimes things that seem at the time like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he or she broke up with me. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got fired. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe this thing didn't work out. And then you look back and you're like, kind of glad that didn't work out.
Mm-hmm. Totally, man. I get you 100%. 100%. Same vibe, same feeling. And it's almost like, you kind of look back and you can never make the change, but I always and it's hard to say. I kind of wish the company had gone before, because my love and loyalty cost the people that I was leading an absolute fortune. The check went, but things happen, and you find a home, you get passionate, you get excited, you're crushing it, we're crushing it, and it's just really, really good to see. So let's get into some social media tactics, because this is where you guys are absolutely crushing it. So I know you have like this whole kind of process of like the curiosity, the why, the what, the wow. I mean, I absolutely love that. I know I've spoken to you and we've really brought that into what we do, and it's having huge impact. And then, this is about just really kind of getting that visibility, isn't it? And creating that intrigue, man.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you don't understand the value in social media, like it's tough, because at first sometimes people are just like, I don't post on social media and I don't know what to say, but it's just, you have to start looking at things differently. You want to start looking at social media as an example, not as a place to consume content, but a place to create content. And you start thinking like a marketer, you start thinking like a boss, like an entrepreneur, and you think, okay, how can I help people? How can I start to share my story, talk about the benefits of my product, create some curiosity, share other people's stories? How can I put myself on video? Maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's Reels, maybe it's in my Instagram or Facebook stories, maybe it's Facebook Live. You have to figure out ways to start showing up with 80% of your content value-based and entertaining, empowering, enlightening. You want to start showing up with some type of content. And I say some type because, I mean, it doesn't technically have to be video, but video is the most impactful. You want to look at your social media like a bank account, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to build up your social equity. A lot of people are trying to withdraw from an empty bank account. They don't have credibility. They don't have influence. They're either always selling, which is why they struggle with selling, or they never sell. And nobody even knows. You're like a secret agent. So there is that fine line of like 80% value, 20%, maybe even 10% of the time you talk about your product, your company. Sometimes it's very direct. Sometimes it's more indirect. But it's talking about it, just not too much where it comes across as if you're trying to sell and pitch them. If you come across as you're trying to pitch and sell them every single time, every interaction, every story, every post, every time they follow, it's probably not going to get you the results you desire, like I mentioned before. But the other thing is, you got to pay attention to people that are paying attention to you. If people are watching your stories, you can go to your story and swipe up. You can see who's watching your stories. Send them a message, right? The people that are liking and commenting on your posts, like, engage with those people, reach out to those people. And by the way, it doesn't have to be like, hey, do you want to join my team? You want to buy my product? It can just be like, hey, Sarah, how are you? Thanks for the love of my posts. What have you been up to? Were you at all curious in what I'm doing? Would you be at all open and watching a short video that gives you some information on my product or company? If not, no big deal. Like, you're just having those conversations. Write this down. You are a professional conversation starter. Professional conversation starter. So there's going to be reactive and proactive. There's reactive, meaning people are coming to you which is the best kind of lead. I love when people are in my inbox going, what company are you with? What's your product? How do I get the juice? How do I get the stuff? How do I get right? Like, what's it cost? Those people, I'm always going to have a higher close ratio because they came to me. But you can't sit back twiddling your thumbs, waiting for people to ask you what you do. You got to be proactive. You got to reach out to people, and you want to be a friend first and a marketer second. Again, you want to have the mindset of a doctor, or you're giving a consultation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with them by asking questions to see if my products will benefit them. And by the way, when you are talking about your products, talk about the benefits and not the features. Don't talk about what's in the product. What does the product do for you? What has it done for other people, right? The benefits versus the features. And then from there, we use the ATM system, right? Add, tag, message. You and I have talked about this. If someone expresses interest, we add them into a group. We tag them in the information they were interested in. And then we send them a message. Hey, Craig, I add you to my group. In the group, you're going to learn more about the products, the company, how we make money, whatever it is, right? Because some people are just interested in products. Some are interested in making money. The people that are interested in making money, in my opinion, they need to know about the products. But people that are just interested in the products, they don't necessarily need to know anything about the business because they're looking to lose weight or they're looking to use the product to benefit them as a consumer, right? I'm not trying to cram the opportunity. That was another big paradigm shift about 5-6 years ago, is we started duplicating and teaching people, launching people with them focused on leading with the product. And then if someone's interested in the product, you say, hey, do you also want to learn more about the business and watch a 12-minute video on how we make money promoting these products on social media? If not, no big deal. We just found that it was easier for people to promote a product and get a customer. And actually not just get a customer, but consistently get customers than it is to teach a new person how to get a recruit, right? And you know this, you've been in the business a while too. You've seen this. Like, the average person is not going to have a lot of success recruiting in the beginning, but they'll probably have some decent success finding people that are willing to try products. And you know what? It makes sense. There's more people out there that want to lose weight or look younger or feel better or whatever it is your product does, right? There's more people out there that are willing to buy a product than sell a product. There's way more people out there that would use a product versus becoming like an entrepreneur and starting a business, right? Most people, even though we think that's weird, right? We're like, what's wrong with you? Don't you want to make money? Don't you want to be debt free? Don't you want you don't want residual income, right? But some people, they're not ready for that. They're like, it's like a foreign language. They're skeptical. They're like, yeah, right, sure. So product first for most people. If someone's got a big influence and they're very entrepreneurial and their friends in their network is entrepreneurial, that's a little different. But if they're just like the normal everyday person, we teach them to lead with product. We teach them, like you said, how to go live and promote their new product, their new business, why they're excited, tell people why you're doing it, get personal. And, from there, ATM, you add them, you tag them in the stuff, you send them a message. Hey, I tagged you in this video. And then really it's just, follow up, right? The fortune's in the follow up. I don't want to get too deep on like the follow up stuff, but follow up is actually where the money's made. And it's not just me selling, it's me closing. Like, I'm just like, listen, what did you like best? When do you want to get started? What would be your goals? I'm here to support you, right? And teaching my team how to do group chats on Facebook Messenger. It's just so freaking simple, right? We create curiosity, we create conversations, we connect with the people that are open, we add them to the groups, tag them in the information, we put them in a group chat so that they can meet other marketers on the team. And then getting the ones that join plugged into the system, teaching them the onboarding process, giving them the tools, giving them the direction and the guidance they need to be successful. Because what's the goal? The goal is to create independence. The goal is to get to a point where you have so many leaders and producers and people out there building their businesses, because it is their business, not yours. You don't be a micromanager like, hey, Craig, what'd you do today? John, how many people did you talk to? No, I want people on my team that are self-sufficient, right? They're not relying on me. Now, of course, I'm still in the trenches with them. Look, I've recruited more people in the last 90 days than I've recruited in the last 20 years. I'm still building new teams. I'm still leading by example, but I'm also I'm leading by example, but then and I'm accessible. I'm there for my team. I know you're doing the same thing, but I'm also not a babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a therapist. I'm not dragging people to the finish line or across the finish line. Like, I'm running with the runners, walking with the walkers, crawling with the crawlers. I meet
Yeah.
them where they're at. And I
Yeah.
don't make them, by the way, I don't make anybody feel bad either. I get
No.
people all the time. They're like, I'm so sorry. I haven't been plugged into the training calls. I haven't been, and and in my mind, I'm thinking, like, I'm winning and growing with or without you, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not paying attention to who's doing what. But I also don't want to spend too much time trying to revive the dead, as
Yeah.
they say. I'm not trying to beg and convince people to work the business. I don't try
Mm-hmm.
to beg and convince people to join the business in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the other thing is, you have to keep in mind, especially when you have a smaller team and a smaller business, you got to work with what you got. You got
Yeah.
to work with what you got. But as you grow a bigger business, a more profitable business, a business like Craig, then you have the ability to pick and choose who you spend your time with, so that you're, making sure that you're pouring into the people that deserve it, and spending that personal time with the people that are showing up and doing the work.
You find you learn your skills, don't you? And
Yeah.
certainly when you're at the beginning. I mean, I love the mindset of leading with product as well. Completely agree. It builds confidence. People get into the environment. I mean, for me, I remember like my very first team member was solely by accident, solely by accident. And then I got the bug for it. But you learn your skills. You cut your teeth
Yeah.
on not necessarily the right people, and you almost like sharpen your axe. So actually, you're becoming worth more. So then you've got the skills when you're attracting the good people. You've got this ability to nurture them to succeed, to create that independence. So you've
Right.
got to go through that journey. Have to
Yeah.
go through the journey.
It's such a good point, because, like, when I think about some of the really good people I have in my business today, like, I wouldn't have known what to do with them if they would have hit me up 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have joined my team 20 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know what to do, man. I'm sorry. Like, I wouldn't have been able to coach him. I'd been like, people are like, man, it took you a while. And I'm like, yeah, thank God. Thank God it took me 7 years to crack a full-time income, 16 years to become a millionaire, because, the truth is, I don't think I would have appreciated it. If it was easy, if I would have made this much money in my 20s, I don't know, man. I was still drinking back then. Like, I haven't drank alcohol in 14 years. Like, I don't think it would have been a good thing to
Mm-hmm.
make this kind of money way back then. I mean, I was making six figures in my
Mm-hmm.
early 20s because I got into the mortgage industry and then whatever. But, for me, I don't think I'm glad it took as long as it did. I'm glad
Yes.
I have so much more appreciation and gratitude for what I've built, because it took a while. It wasn't handed to me. I didn't, get a spot. I didn't have, quite honestly, in other companies, I had really bad upline. Like, the last company I was in and the company before that, like, my upline, I was treated like a redheaded stepchild. Nadia and I both. We were always like the biggest team. So the upline was always worried about their other teams. They didn't really feel like they had to work with us. But again, it was a blessing in disguise, because I had to step up. I had to become the leader that I wish I had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's interesting. I know you just mentioned, and it's a bit off kind of point, but you mentioned about not drinking for 14 years, and I read something recently, or listened to something, and I can't remember the exact number, but there was something insane, like 90 something percent of millionaires don't drink.
Wow, really? That is
Huge,
shocking.
a ridiculous percentage
That's
of
shocking.
millionaires actually do not drink alcohol, which is fascinating, really. You talk about environment and lifestyle and energy, and
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, I
look,
like a glass of wine occasionally, but I'm
yeah, I was going
certainly
to
not like
say,
I was in
if
my 20s.
yeah, I mean, listen, if you can handle it, like, for me, it was like, Nadia will drink a couple glasses of wine. Like, for me, that'd be like pre-gaming. That'd be like a couple bottles. Like, let's go. Like, I was all in. I'm an obsessive type of personality, right? It's like, I wouldn't just, to me, it's like, why would I just drink two? Like, I'm drinking to get drunk. I'm drinking to black out. I want to go party. Like, and now that was also in my 20s, in my defense. But, the truth was, I was not a good drunk. 50% of the time, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But it was the other 50%, like, I was getting arrested. I was just stupid things. And, for me, being a father and a husband, like, at some point you're like, okay, this is either going to ruin my marriage. I'm going to be a terrible father, or I'm going to, like, make a very, very tough decision. At the time, it was tough. Looking back, it's like, that was a no brainer. But at the time, when you're really into partying with your friends and stuff, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never drinking again. I'm never going to have fun again. And it's just the dumbest thing, but
Yeah.
you don't know. You're like, I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try. And it was one of the best decisions I made for me personally. Everybody's in a different situation. Everybody's got, their stuff. That for me was baggage. That was a big problem. And I knew it, but I was always trying to put it off. And then eventually I finally made that decision. And, people are like, did you go to AA? Did you do this? Did you do that? And I'm like, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but no, I just stopped drinking and I just haven't drank since. And people are like, how? And I'm like, willpower. I don't know what else to tell you. Just, choice. And there was more to the story too. One of my best friends from high school committed suicide. And when he did that, him and I used to always talk about quitting drinking because, it always led to the other bad decisions we'd made. And he got hooked on drugs. And I really think it was the alcohol that got him into, that lifestyle, that addiction. And I was just like, you know what, man, I'm not going to allow, just like my dad died. My dad died of a heart attack when I was 23 and he smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day. I quit smoking. As soon as he died, I was like, I'm done with smoking, never smoking again. Same thing with alcohol. So I already knew I could do it because I'd done it before. I had done the whole quitting smoking thing. Of course, hit my cords, my phone's bouncing. So I quit smoking before. So I was like, I'm just going to do the same thing with alcohol. And, the day he died, I drank a 6-pack. I did drink a 6-pack that day, and that was it. Haven't drank alcohol since then. And that was the first day of 2008. By the way, that was when I went full-time in network marketing also.
Wow. Do you know what? I really do believe that we have this inner power when we truly make a decision, because I was the same. I remember being at an Anthony Robbins event. I used to smoke 20, 30 fags a day. And I remember leaving there and I screwed up this packet of cigarettes, threw it in the bin and just went, that was it. I was done. I'd made the decision. That was it. Yeah. It was my decision. It was done. That was how it was going to be.
Yeah. You're like, no patch.
Nothing.
Nothing off. Like, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
I didn't even find it difficult because I was so crystal clear on the decision.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I remember going, back then, I remember you'd go into
how long has it been?
2005.
Wow. Yeah. So I quit 2003. Yeah. There you go.
So you go back into when I was living in Spain, I did have the odd cigarette when I was having a glass of wine, but I didn't need it. I enjoyed it for some bizarre reason. But even then, I'd have a cigarette and then I wouldn't have something for 6 months. So there was no addiction. It was just a decision.
Yeah, kind of like a cigar. Like once in a while, I'll have a cigar, but I don't feel any desire the next day. Like I need to smoke some cigs. Yeah, no, not at all.
I think there's better things to be addicted to, and I think network marketing gives you that. The addiction to personal growth, the addiction to making a difference in other people's lives. The addiction to freedom, man. This is the driving force.
Yeah. But it's hard in the beginning because it's like the old saying goes, like when you have momentum in network marketing, there's nothing better. When you don't have momentum in network marketing, there's nothing worse. It's just like, because you want it so bad, but the truth is you can't want it more for people than they want it for themselves. Mm-hmm. And how many of us experience this? Maybe some of us are experiencing this now, where it's like you are your team. It's like you're like, when am I going to find someone that's like me? And Craig hit the nail on the head. The more you work on yourself and the better you become, the better the people are that you attract to you. Yeah. So you have to work on you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that just working on you is the key. But if you're working your business and not working on you, you got to do both. It is a numbers game, but there's more variables. Like if someone, like this one person on my team, she's like, oh yeah, it's all about consistency. And it's like, yeah, but no. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if you're consistently doing the same thing over and over again, that's actually the definition of insanity, right? Expecting a different result, but you're not getting any better, right? You have to consistently get better as well. But typically through the action, right? Through the activity, through working your business, you are typically going to get better, right? Mm-hmm. But just being consistent is not enough. You have to consistently get better. You have to consistently improve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I love it, mate. I really do appreciate your time, mate. I know you are living a life of freedom. You've got the pool in the background, which I really do hope you're going to.
And now it's starting to rain. So there you go. Go fish.
Really? Oh, mate. Well, there's nothing wrong with being in a warm hot tub when it's raining. I'm sure.
I mean, you're getting wet, so whatever. Same day.
Before you go, buddy, so you talked about this kind of you have this all-in mentality. Even when you were younger, you were all in.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, you, from a freedom point of view, and it's not like the old school of belly to belly, nose to nose, running around the motorway, doing like 16-hour days. But even in the time that you're in, whatever you choose that to be, you've got to be all in, right? That's the
Yeah.
mindset. There's got to be 100% in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you got 1% doubt, you're out.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in what you're doing, now let's be clear. It's about believing in what you're doing. You don't have to have a lot of confidence. People think, oh, I got to be confident. Oh, that's why I'm struggling. I'm not confident. Brene Brown has a quote that I love. It's choose courage over comfort. So it's about courageous activity. How can you build confidence in something that you haven't done? It's like a sport. How many of you have played a sport, right? You know, you guys call soccer football over there. I mean, it's whatever, but we call it soccer.
Let's not get into that, mate.
We don't know anything. We know nothing over here. Especially when it comes to soccer or football. But, you know, on a serious note, right? How do you build confidence in playing a sport? It's playing the sport. Like, there's no other way. You can read all the books, you can watch others play, but how do you build that confidence? It's doing it over and over and over. And by the way, even at the highest level, like you look at some of the best athletes in the world, it's not just going to be because people say, oh yeah, but that person has raw talent or they're just so, you know, athletic. Sure, that helps. But when you get to the highest level, everybody's athletic. Everybody's talented. Now it's mindset, it's work ethic, it's hustle, it's all that other stuff, all those other intangibles. So yeah, it's really important to be courageous and take action. You know, people, I suck at videos. I'm like, well, how many videos have you done? Well, not that many. Well, that's why you suck. How do you expect to be good at something you haven't done a whole lot? Like, guess what? Embrace the suck. We all suck at first. That's it.
Love it, mate. Hey, well, look, buddy, again, massive, massive thank you to you. Maybe I will see you at an event in the near future, I am sure. We are off to Dubai again this year, so maybe you should pop over for a little weekend. But, mate, super great. Give my love to Nadia, and really super grateful for you to give some of your valuable time and really come and talk about really what you're doing on social media. I mean, you guys have really created this massive kind of ATM your face off vibe, which is where the duplications come in, and you know we're loving it. I know it's sweeping around the world. So mate, keep crushing it. Loads of love and energy to you, buddy. You're an absolute rock star. I really do appreciate your time.
Absolutely, bro. Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.